Dude, literally Ray being an incest baby is perfect. Kiyomo? I don't think I've ever heard of this guy. Otochin is probably one of the most famous Street Fighter 2 players. He's generally regarded to be the best Chun, or one of them. Oh, that was some perfect charging shit. This is Neyagawa ABC 10-8-17, part 1 of 5. I like how this is literally modern footage and this looks saturated as shit. Stand Fierce Left Forward is a link, I think. It's a good sequence on block too. A lot of Chun-Li's super plus on block normals don't look super plus on block. This is like super recent. This is like 4 days ago. Literally 100% modern footage. This is in fact Japan. Ken is supposed to do pretty good against Bison, because his DP is really good against the scissor kick. And anyone with a fireball is good against Bison. Anyone with a fireball is good. But Bison's answers to fireballs are all like guess based. I think this matchup's not like horrible, but I think it's good for Ken. Ken is like secret. Especially new Ken. New Ken is like the secret character in this game. He's okay. Old Ken is almost definitely better. That was a crazy kick, I think. Or maybe it was just an hard kick. That did a lot. Light DP comes out super fast and is generally safe-ish. Knocks down, does a chunk. Ken's fireball recovery is worse than Ryu's, and that's literally the most important thing in this game. And that goes for new and old Ken. Having worse fireball recovery is a really big deal. That throw range. He took the throw though. When one of the characters in ST gets below 30% health, the music changes. Most supers are safe. Only a few aren't. I think Ken's super is unsafe, so you almost never see Ken's do super. Only when you need invincibility really badly, or when you're right about to kill. Also cancels the super really, really hard, so usually you see supers raw. Super cancel window is way smaller than special cancel window for whatever reason. So literally without buffering, it's like almost impossible. It's like frame perfect to do super cancels. Like even with Chun-Li stored super, it's hard as fuck to do like a Chun-Li like stand strong or something and then do like a super cancel. It's literally like, it's hard as balls. I don't understand why it's as hard as it is. And that's literally just hit kick after hitting whatever button. There's no motion because you've stored it. It's just automatically buffered. But it's still, you have to be like instant. You don't see super cancels almost at all. There was a movement in Street Fighter 3. In this game, supers are like a tool you use. And in Street Fighter 3, supers are often combo enders. Although some of them are tools you use. Like Denjin is kind of a tool you use. Don't look at me. I don't know how the speeds work in this game. It's frame skip something, but... all I know is that certain speeds they make the game play faster, but they make some combos impossible. Because of the way frame skip works. Already in this game, in Street Fighter 2, some one-frame links are sometimes two-frame links, and some one-frame links are sometimes zero-frame links. Depending on how the frame skip works. I'm going to take your word for it. It's just random. There are some literal random combos in this game. There are a lot of random factors in Street Fighter too. Very famously, damage is randomized. Sometimes attacks will do a lot, and sometimes they won't do a lot. Literally, like only 70% of the damage of an attack is fixed, and 30% is like random. You can get like huge disparity every now and then. See that blood? Remember blood? Yeah, stun is also randomized. What else is random? Some combos will stun half the time and not stun on the other half. A lot of the really famous Dizzy combos always stun. DJ has a combo that stuns 100% of the time, so does Bison. Throw attacks are random if they happen on the same frame. Otherwise, it's whoever hit it first. I feel like there's another really major random thing. There's a tiny, tiny bit of third blood and third strike. As Urian's time over. That was done at speed 1. I don't understand. They're just fucking around with the speeds. Mao is a player I know. Vega literally doesn't lose to anyone. Vega only has 6-4s. And the occasional 5-5. Vega's strat works equally well against every character. His strat is jump off the wall. He actually has a lot of ways he can play top tiers. Just being annoying with pokes is really good. A lot of characters can't counter slides very well in this game. So anyone with a slide, especially like a slide that can be spaced really easily. Bison's slide is really hard to space. But like Dalsim's slide is really easy to space. Slides fuck up a lot of characters. I think Guile hates being slid on. Vega's also got Scarlet Terror can be stored in this game, so you can do it while holding backwards instead of holding down back. As long as you initially charge it holding down back, if you hold straight back, you'll still be able to anti-air with it. Also, it's truly invincible and pretty safe. It's like very hard to punish. And then his wall dives are absolutely stupid. Who's good in ST competitively? You want me to just list top to bottom? It's not very well balanced. It's not like you can just take Sagat's not even the best character in the game. It's not like you can just like take, you know, certain characters and say these characters are viable, and then other characters can be like these characters are not viable. Boxer and Dalsim are usually regarded to be the best two. Although people will argue on which one is better. I personally feel like Dalsim is a lot better than Boxer. But those are usually like the top two. And then Claw and Sagat, old Sagat, are usually considered to be the like tied for like second. And then people tend to argue which of those two are stronger. And then occasionally you see Chun-Li and you see who else? Ryu, I guess. Chun-Li and Ryu occasionally make that little list too. That's like the top tier. Those guys are all really fucking solid. DJ, yeah, DJ too. DJ's like a new addition. DJ wasn't considered to be strong for a long fucking time, and now he's usually regarded to be like high tier. DJ literally went, in the last like few years, I shouldn't say few years. Well, DJ was always kind of regarded to be like, maybe he's actually really good, but there were like no DJ players. But in the last like few years, DJ went from like low tier to mid tier to high tier. T-Hawk is secret. T-Hawk has an infinite, but otherwise he's shitty. But the infinite's really good. Only like 2 people ever have made T-Hawk work. T-Hawk is very, very weak to fireballs, which is a horrible thing to be in this game because fireballs are really good. He also gets smashed by all the top tiers, particularly Dalsim. If your execution is perfect, then if you get in one time as T-Hawk and you land one SPD, you literally win. Kyok actually has a gun in this game, and the gun is his infinite. I don't know if they're only counting rounds for the 0-2 in the, like the whatever, or if they're not showing off full sets. I've been like kind of wondering about that. Ken is usually in the little high tier list. Who else? Dictator. Dictator like loses to fireball characters, but he's so solid besides that. And he doesn't even really lose that hard to fireball characters because he can literally, if he jumps one fireball with a good timing, he just instantly wins. Let me look at the roster really fast. Wait, it's not on screen. There we go. Ryu's like top or maybe high. Honda is like mid or maybe low. Blanca's like bottom. Guile is like mid or maybe high, but probably mid. Maybe high. T-Hawk is like low, but maybe secretly high, but probably just low. Faye is like low, but maybe secretly high. Boxer's top. Sagata's top. Ken is high. Chun is high or maybe top. Zangief is bottom or maybe low. Dawson is top. Kami is absolute, literally worst one. DJ is high. Vega is top, and Dictator is like high. That's like a pretty good list. I think that's accurate. Akuma is literally like breaks the game tier. There's like 3 empty tiers and then there's Akuma. No character can fight Akuma fairly. I think this is before characters had different health, so I think Akuma actually doesn't have low HP. And he also cannot get stunned at all. He has no super, but he doesn't need one. Air fireballs are literally impossible for most of the game to counter. Like, there's no way most characters can anti-air an air fireball. Tatsus are all invincible on the way up and safe and do 3 ticks of chip damage and like lead to full combos on block, and they can be ducked. DPs are invincible. Light DPs are like fully invincible on the way up and then safe. But all the DPs have like good hitboxes and they've all got invincibility. His ground fireballs are like as good as Ryu's. They did not even try to balance him. He doesn't have a super though. He didn't get a super until the Dreamcast port. But that's like not really a big deal at all. Is Dreamcast. Dreamcast version of ST. The first game where he had it was probably like Alpha or something. The best home port of ST now is probably whatever it's called. Shit, what's the name of it? HD Remix. There's no way of looking at the old sprites, but you can play the original. You can play ST mode. And it's like 100% arcade perfect. The Switch one changes quite a lot, and I don't think you can play ST mode in that one. That down towards the roundhouse, it's very hard to see which side Chun-Li's going to land on. And it's an overhead. In later Street Fighter games, it's like it doesn't have a hitbox unless it's crossing up. But in this game it has a hitbox whether it crosses up or not. Which means there's like a couple frames where you can either cross up or not cross up, and it's almost unseeable. That was nice to get the air throw on the air grab. Both these characters are famous for never losing to anyone. I think it's generally seen as Chun-Li's like one bad matchup. I think it's usually seen to be like a 6-4 in Vegas' favor. It might be seen as a 5-5 though. PS2 collection is considered to be either arcade perfect or near arcade perfect. It's just on an inconvenient console. If you want to get Anniversary Edition, it's just fine. But most people, you know, don't still have their Xbox or their PS2 hooked up. Are they shit? I thought they were fine. I didn't think they changed anything. They changed Third Strike just a little bit. That's the version that removed the unblockables in Third Strike, I think. No. How did it work? Was it Dreamcast that removed unblockables and then Anniversary Edition put them back in? I think. Read on Sprites is HD Remix. Anniversary still looks the same. Anniversary is the one with Third Strike and Street Fighter 2 and the animated movie. You get all three. Kind of a nice collection, I guess. There's my second Street Fighter game and the one that really hooked me on. I've got a PS2 hooked up downstairs. I have a Saturn somewhere, not hooked up. I have a Dreamcast somewhere, not hooked up. This is like a top tier versus a bottom tier. And I think the sim is actually kind of good against Blanca anyway. So enjoy. Blanca has literally like 2 weapons. He's got probably the best slide in the game, or one of. It actually goes under fireballs like Sims, and it knocks down, and it goes pretty far. And it starts really quickly. He's got probably the best slide in the game, and he's got a pretty nice grab range on a grab that can be looped. I think it can be looped. So, that grab. Okay, that didn't really look loopable. But that grab is pretty nutty. You can't jump out of grabs in this game. You're throwable for pre-jump frames, and also grabs are 1 frame. And also, if you're grabbed outside your throw range, you can break the throw, but you can't, like, throw them first. So basically, like, you know, you're in a pretty shitty scenario. And Dhalsim is really bad at getting, like, Dhalsim doesn't have any unthrowable reversals except teleport, which is very, very hard to do as a reversal. And by very hard, I don't mean difficult, like, you might miss the timing. I mean, like, literally, the context has to be there, right? There's a glitch in this game that makes it so Dhalsim cannot do reversal teleport, except in very, very specific circumstances. It's like if his last special move executed was a teleport, I think. This is the only way he can do a reversal teleport. And it's also true on frame timing. Dhalsim can also not do reversal super unless the last special move he used was a super. Almost always, they just play an arcade version. Sagat never has a super anyway, so whatever. Capcom, Street Fighter 2 is very, very easy to re-release. It's like low effort for them. And it sells really well every time, so. Street Fighter 2 sold like fucking a lot, okay? It was very successful and very loved. That's why it's the basis of everything. Remember that not only did SF2 sell like crazy, but when they tried to make something that wasn't SF2, people like rejected it. People initially rejected it. Now people kind of on that third strike boat. Even if they're not like, you know, even if they don't play, they like the characters. Yeah, a lot of the characters are founded around shit that I don't find very interesting. Like Honda is the example I always use. Honda's kind of awful, balance-wise. He's entirely built around jumps. He's entirely built around being imbalanced. He's entirely built around either being too strong or too helpless. Nowadays, people just use Online Edition, because that's the one that's most convenient to have. And that's arcade perfect. Like, it's literally arcade perfect. I can only think of like 2 things that the arcade version doesn't have that aren't just outright glitches. Huh? All the boss characters have supers. Sagat, if you pick an old version of a character, they don't have a super. And Sagat, his old version is usually considered to be way better than his modern version. Super Turbo was the first game that featured supers. And in Super Turbo, there's the ability to pick the super versions of characters, which is like the 4th version of the game, and this is the 5th version. The characters from the 4th version don't have any of the balance changes that 5th version added. For example, they can't tech throws because throw teching was added in the 5th version. They also don't have supers because supers were added in the 5th version. But there were also balance changes between Super and Super Turbo, and some characters were made worse in Super Turbo. So the old versions of those characters are like usually used over the new versions. Pretty much every character has something that's kind of cool about their old version that you might want to pick. But usually, T-Hawk and Sagat are considered to be unquestionably better on their old versions, and Ryu and Ken are like debated. And then also I think like Honda. There's like really random characters. You basically only see like T-Hawk, Sagat, Ken, and Ryu. But like occasionally you see like another old character. I think there's something about old Chun that's supposed to be kind of good. Old Honda had like really stupid hitboxes, I think. The old Ken being better is like a new idea. It's probably true, but it's new. Old Gal's, he had like some normal changes, I think. He had like a different, I think he didn't have a back short, or like his back short was something else. So he could just do his stand short while holding back, while maintaining charge. Which was kind of good in some matchups, I think. I think that's how it worked. Yeah, so like certain characters, Gal's kind of weak to slides, so you can just whiff like stand short and like hit incoming slides and also like be annoying. And it has kind of a good hitbox. I've like heard little, oh, he dropped it. That actually juggles there. It gets like 2 hits. I've heard like little arguments to pick old characters for like almost every character in this game now. T-Hawk famously had a bunch of hitbox downgrades. A lot of his attacks got way smaller. It's not like old Hawk is even that good. Unless your name is Damn Die. Blanca doesn't wear many clothes, so they have to do something to make his colors different. People picking different colors of Blanca get different skin tones. There are a few other characters that do the same thing. I think Dhalsim does that in this game. And then Necro 12 and Urien do it in Third Strike, and also Oro. Well, this is like super whitewashed footage. He does look a little bit more yellowy green than greeny green in ST. But I would still maybe call it green. This is famously a very shitty matchup. So this is kind of cool as Zangief got one at all. This is usually seen to be like a 7-3 or like worse. Geef has a really hard time doing anything. This isn't even Geef's worst matchup, to be honest. But it's been bad in like every version of Street Fighter 2. Note that even when Zangief makes the right read, he often gets punished. I.e. there are no right reads. Lariat's predictably expecting a fireball, eats the fireball. Green Hands successfully hits the fireball, gets poked. Things are very difficult for Geef in this matchup. Wow, I'm surprised that wasn't a punish. I like missed him. That must start with middle body hitboxes. This is like a very shitty matchup. That was a nice jump. That was a really nice lariat. That was a good prediction. He's making only right reads. Oh my god. That's it. That's super hard to escape. Chun-Li has to do reversal. If Geef times that right, Chun-Li has to either go for a 50-50 on throw, and then whoever does the throw first, or if they both do it on the earliest frame, it's a coin toss. Or Chun-Li has to do up kicks. Oh shit, the video ended. There's 5 parts to that, but I don't really feel like watching another one. I'm gonna find something else. ST is a neat game though. Hold on. What the hell is a Wake Up Wednesday? Alright, here we go. I found exactly the thing we've been waiting to see. Japanese footage of MVCI. They're both using Space Stone. I played this game a lot just today. I played against S-Ride. He kind of bought me. It wasn't like as bad as it normally is, I guess. I've only played not S-Ride, did I say S-Ride? 2 turntables. I got a P, but also I got shit on. But I did get a P, that was kind of cool. But also I got shit on, which was kind of bad. But I did better than I'd like have done before, but also he streaked me. My fattest streak was like 3. His fattest streak was like a lot. Final score was something in the realm of like 16-7. I think. Or like 15-7. I was like winning okay, but I felt like I was losing everyone. Two-Tone's team is like actually maybe the cheapest team you could have. It's Zero Dante. I think Flux is using that same team. I think Dante is probably the best character in the game, but I don't want to say that with certainty. Like, even considering everything that is known about the game, I don't want to say Dante is necessarily the best character in the game. Not even considering the possibility of new shit being discovered. It's hard, man. That's a good team. I feel like every time I push block, I just frame trap myself. I'm getting better at blocking, but the problem is, like, he literally has, like, if I only block, I'm in block stun forever. I never actually escape. Like, he can repeatedly, like, pressure into tag, into pressure into tag, and all his guaranteed pressure puts me in a position where he has the tag back by the time he needs the tag to keep his pressure going. And all the hitboxes are so big. Like, I like break combos, and then I see him continuing to attack my other character, and I'm like, okay, I want to fucking do anything, you know? But my attacks are so small and Dante's are so big that like inevitably, like every single time, I in the process of trying to hit Dante or in the process of trying to get hit Zero, I get hit first. And I don't know what to do about that. I mean, I think the correct thing is to not even try and save your character. Once you break a combo, that character only takes red health from that point onwards. So unless they're going to die, it's not too big of a deal if like they keep on getting hit. The point character is the only one who can take real damage. The character who's not being controlled can only ever take red health. Spider-Man actually has like 4 completely busted things that are all like unrelated to each other. Turn like shot me down. I said Spider-Man was real good. And Turn was like, you don't even know about the game. And he's right. But I know some. I'm a real observant motherfucker, honestly. I've been watching this game a lot. And I've got a good sense of video game analysis, if you will. And I feel like Spider-Man is probably high. And potentially top. with what is currently known in the game's engine. The thing about Spider-Man is that he benefits a lot from like tagging. Tagging is so good to Spider-Man. Spider-Man is like one of the most indirectly buffed characters because of the way tagging works. Spider-Man like can push an up-down mix-up faster than almost any other character in this game. He's literally like almost the fastest. I can only think of a couple characters that might be faster than him. Rocket is really fast. Chun-Li is really fast. Who else? I can't even think of another character that's as quick as them. Those characters can just get like 2 or 3 like high-low 50-50s off of making you block a beam. And that's a big deal. That's like a 7/8 chance of opening you up to get 3 50-50s. That's a big fucking deal. 3/4 chance of opening you up if it's 2 50-50s. And he's kind of hard to push block too because of the zipping. Like oftentimes he'll still approach even if like you push block. Most meh character. I don't know, it's hard to say. There's a few characters I haven't seen anyone play at all. So it's probably one of them. It's probably not Arthur. I've seen at least a few Arthur players. I've seen less X play than Arthur. Arthur seems to be a better X from what I can tell. Except X has better movement, that's kind of a big deal. But Arthur has like overhead stuff that's really useful. His projectiles are better. I haven't seen anyone at all play Spencer. But I don't know if Spencer's necessarily bad. I haven't seen anyone at all play... Spencer's just unpopular. A lot of people weren't really like waiting out for Spencer. I haven't seen anyone play Morgan. I've seen like one person play Morgan. It was Ryan LB. I haven't seen anyone play Hulk yet, but like no, I've seen some Hulk players. I feel like Hulk is probably all right with what I know of his toolset. But like whenever I see like the big body players, none of them are using Hulk for some reason. I've only seen a single Thor player. I don't know what underrated means. There's a lot of underrated people. There's a lot of people I'm more well known than who could do what I do better. Like even if you just look in the BAF Discord, like what am I? I'm not the best player there. I'm not like the most knowledgeable person. I'm not even the most eloquent person. If I'm the most anything, I'm the most diligent. And I'm not even the most diligent at like you know, playing fighting games. I'm just the most diligent at actually doing something, actually making videos. There's like a couple people who like can, but don't. There's like 5 people, like just, or maybe not 5, but there's like a bunch of people in my Discord who like have the relevant knowledge that they could do exactly what I do. It's more than 5. Almost anyone who plays fighting games could do what I do. If they're like good. But no one does, but I do. That's like my weapon, is that I actually do stuff. Thoughts on Hawkeye? He's probably pretty good. I fought a really good Hawkeye player not so long ago. I feel like Hawkeye is probably, like... If you want to have a zoning-based team, Hawkeye is one of the better characters you could use on your team. Most eloquent and most knowledgeable? I'm definitely not. I could maybe believe that I'm the most eloquent, but I don't think so, just off the top of my head. I can't think of anyone immediately more, but like it can't be me. That was cool. I'm just good at expressing myself. That's why I look knowledgeable. Anyone who's like better, anyone who can beat me is like more knowledgeable than me, honestly. That's how it actually works. Jeddah has a really good high-low mix-up. We've been seeing a lot of that from Sonic Fox. Jeddah can push a low overhead very quickly. Not as fast as those other ones I mentioned, but very fast. He gets like he gets 2 overhead low mix-ups off of 1 beam super. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal in this game. Chun-Li literally made it onto my team because of that. This is so tricky. That scenario with the Bed of Thorns is so cheap. Because if he just jumps, you move under him automatically, and then you have to block the other way. And then if he tags, the character who tags comes in from the other side again. It's so hard. It's such a hard scenario. Bed of Thorns is cheap. Bed of Thorns is probably like one of the cheapest things in this game right now. Rose bed or whatever. But like the fact that you have to charge it as much as you do kind of balances it. But like just in terms of like raw power, it's nuts. It's so strong. I'm like only actually someone at third strike. I'm like better than most pros at third strike. In terms of every other game, I'm like a jobber. I'm only kind of good at Street Fighter 4. I'm not honestly that good at Street Fighter 5. And I'm a little tiny baby at Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm getting better. I seem to be better than most, like, I'm definitely better than, like, the general player at Marvel vs. Capcom now. But I'm not as good as, like, you know, the long-time guys. Where's the footage? Shamed to be knowledgeable. Yeah, okay. I'm glad you're grateful. Not really. I'm glad I'm glad I improved your life. Now copy my humility or perhaps low self-esteem. I wouldn't say I have low self-esteem. I just feel like there are people who could easily do what I do, if only they cared. That's really tricky. That teleport when you're cornered. Dante moves to a very strange position. I wonder if it was like that in Marvel 3. I get lit up by the most gimmicky shit when I'm fighting turn. Like, Zero has a thing where he can, like, teleport through you and then hit you with a charge shot from the other side. And that hits me, like, 100% of the time. Or, like, sometimes the, like, lightnings can cross. And I don't know how to block that. I mean, I know how to block it, but, like, I don't know how to see it in time. Turn always gives me advice that has nothing to do with that. But, like, if I fixed that, I would be doing way better. Versus if I took his advice, I'd be doing somewhat better. There's like certain setups he has that he like doesn't tell me how to block. And it's like if I knew how to block this, or if I knew how to spot it, I would actually like do super well. I was gonna say that might trade. It's kind of cheap how a character can just make you block from the other side all of a sudden. Like with Karine, it was very, very, very specific. She could only do it on like one very, very like specific string that she could only do in V-trigger, and she could only do like from a long sequence. Quarter circle forward, that was like interruptible. Quarter circle forward punch, like down punch, down punch. And it was reactable. I got to a point where I would beat turn almost all the time in Marvel, I mean in SF5. I guess I'm still there technically. But I want to be able to beat him in Marvel. That's like actually my objective. There's like nothing else I want to do except to be able to beat Turn. I want to win most of the time. That's funny because I don't remember that for shit. One thing I'm really bad at that Turn like makes me very aware that I'm really bad at. This is a cool Soulstorm combo. He has good synergy there. Is whenever I like want to save my other character, I'm absolutely trash at it. I always end up with both characters getting hit at once. My tags are just horrible. And most of the matchups I get away with it perfect. But like I get exposed. That Gimlet angle. Gimlet seems to not care. The opponent can be like behind you. Gimlet will just track. I think it was like that in Marvel 3 as well. Gimlet will like always hit. I wonder if he actually changes the angle at which it fires, which is what I think happens. And he can just fire it in like a shit ton of different angles. Or if the game just puts a full screen hitbox. But I think the way it hits tags indicates that it just moves at a specific angle. Like if the characters are stacked up, Gimlet will hit both of them. You know what's really annoying about Dante? His $1,000,000 will only hit one character until like it hits both, and then it keeps hitting both. If there are two characters and $1,000,000, they'll both eat the full thing. Neither one will fall out. But if you've got your tag in front of you during $1,000,000, I like this setup. You won't have to block anything. And then if you accidentally get hit, like by the other character or something like that, and then, you know, $1,000,000 all of a sudden starts hitting. It like refuses to pierce a character until it suddenly like allows to pierce a character. I don't know what the fucking mechanism is, but it's like awful. Here's $1,000,000 hitting two people. I don't like that. No, I guess I like that meter. That did pretty good damage. So often I like see my partner getting hit by $1,000,000 and I try to save my partner by push blocking $1,000,000 and I don't block anything for like 3 seconds and I end up whiffing a crouch fierce. It's like, how about no? I don't even think turn accounts for shit like that. Like there's a lot of stuff that I think turn is actually doing that's smart. But then there's a lot of stuff that's like things just incidentally work because his characters are good. Shit like Zero's jump hard punch hitting on like every angle. Why does it do that? Dante's jump hard punch too. And just towards light punch. Why do you have these hitboxes that just go all the way around? The down hard punch or whatever it is, the fucking ground slam. Hitting on both sides. A lot of Dante's tags come out like the wrong direction or shit. And also all of his... One thing that actually like pisses me off about Dante is that his little, like, what do you call those? The activates that change the special moves, the button presses, the DMC, like just frame attacks or whatever. No, actually just frame. They all autocorrect. If he's facing the wrong way and he does one of those, he instantly is facing the right way. So like you can't really like get him to whiff anything because he's always attacking towards you with these giant ass hitboxes. It's the worst. I like understand more each time I play. I think Dante's I think that I can outplay Dante. You know what I mean? Like Dante's pretty good, but I think if I play better, I still win. He's not so good that I can't win just by playing better. I think both the free level 3 and the stone activation can be done even if you're in guard. But the stone activation is pretty long, so like if you X-Factored while blocking, you would usually get a punish before they could like recover. But if you stone activate while blocking, usually they recover in time, unless they're doing something really fat. That Dante's already a corpse. Surprised he lived through that. I've never seen anyone do it. Isn't there supposed to be a way to like swap which character you're playing as during a soulstorm? Oh my god. Why did that connect properly? Oh. What happened there? Did we lose some frames? Yeah, we did. Ultron died at some point. I'm learning. I'm getting better. I've definitely shown like massive improvement in Marvel over the last like 4 times I've played. I've like quintupled in skill in like a super short amount of time. But it's always you always get the fastest improvement right when you start. But I've gone from literally mass jab to like knowing what I'm doing and having high lows and like stuff like that. My movement's better. I'm like playing the game now. My movement's not so good that it can't still see massive improvement, and movement is like the most important thing, as usual, in a fighting game. I feel like one thing that Hawkeye does that's kind of cool and good and strong is that he can attack very risklessly and get big conversions out of it. Is that he can attack from a range where there's basically no chance of a punish. And if he gets like an errant gimlet tag or a lot of his fucking arrows into tag or any ice arrow, um, he can just turn that into a full combo. You can technically reflect an ice arrow, but he can still block in time if it's full screen. And the closer you are, the harder it is to react. He's a very, very low commit character, which is really good if you want to play defensive. Most of the other defensive characters are high commit, which is horrible. Defensive characters like should be low commit. That's the only way they work. You're supposed to have like high commit offensive characters and low commit defensive characters. Zangief has to stake his life on every fucking approach. Well, not so much anymore. But that's like the idea he's built around. Is taking risks. And then the defensive characters are supposed to be like, you know, I take 0 risks, but also I have no counterplay and no ability to make comebacks. that slide. Like if you're out there playing Arthur, even putting on the armor is like kind of committal. You're burning a bar to like have it for a little while. And then all of your like projectiles are kind of, I mean, they're really good, but they're committal. They take a long time to do. And then once the armor pops off, all of a sudden you're in a really shit position. You're like worse off than before you ever put it on. And if it pops off in the middle of your combo or something like that, God forbid. Or in a situation where the opponent can actually exploit it. I think in this game you're just immune to all damage, right? When your armor pops off. In Marvel 3, you could get hit by OTGs and shit. I haven't seen any confirmation yet, but I think I've seen a couple instances of people trying to hit armor. I mean, people trying to hit Arthur after the armor pops off. And like their attack's just whiffing. In Marvel 3, if Arthur's armor popped off, you would do like, you know, Wesker down towards Fierce or shit like that. Yeah, it can release him from being comboed, but it can like, that's just as liable to fuck you up. It knocks him down and gives the opponent screen position or whatever. And then you still have the low HP that you've got to burn a bar to correct, and then burn another bar to have the armor again. That's mediocre. A lot of the activation supers just go away. What's up with that? Arthur keeps his armor when he's fucking off screen, which makes sense. But then, like, I think Gamora's, like, shadows, and also Ouroboros, like, just disappear as soon as you tag out. That's a big deal. Tagging's a big deal in this game. No wonder they're one bar. Just instantly lose them as soon as you leave the screen. They were very particular about that in Marvel 3. Remember when characters got like slowed down by Beautiful Joe and they tagged out? And then their assists would come in super slow. And then when they finally came back in, they would still be super slow. I don't remember what happened if you tagged that with Ouroboros in Marvel 3. I don't think I ever saw it happen. You probably lost Ouroboros in that game too. Tagging is more essential in this game. So losing the ability to tag is more fucking awful. Ghost Rider Nova. I never see people do that, but I see like pros do it. I never see people do it in person. But like jump down heavy punch into tag is a very good sequence. Lets you easily combo out of it. That's like kind of a bad space stone almost. Nova's got like air dash overheads with triangle jumps, and he's also got like a standing overhead. It's kind of nice. I'm really tired too. I should go to bed real soon. That really came in from the other side because he turned around. Nutty. The tag animation technically gives you time to react to where the character's coming from. I'll get on it soon. I don't know when. Oh shit. The spell. I feel it. I feel something anyway. Oh wait, no, that's just tiredness. He wanted a single hit to OTG. That was a good roll. Smart. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm sleepy. I'm gonna wait till the end of this match, so I'm just gonna go. Hit me real hard, real fast. I got set up a lot. Forces him to block that super and low to the ground. Yep, time for me to go.